Good morning children. Welcome to our chemistry class. We are discussing the chapter physical and chemical changes. In the previous two videos, we have discussed about some of the chemical changes that happens around us. Okay. Now today in this class, we are going to discuss one chemical change and also one physical change. The chemical change that we are going to discuss today is rusting of iron, and the physical change that we are going to discuss is crystallization of copper sulfate. Now let's move to rusting of iron, the chemical change. So we already know that rusting of iron is a chemical change. What is rusting? So in this picture you can see same material, two different colors. Okay, so this is iron. When iron is carelessly kept in open air, what will happen? Iron will chemically react with oxygen and also with water content in the atmosphere and forms a new product which is called rust. Chemical name of rust is hydrated iron oxide. Now let's see the next slide, then you will understand it more. See here, rust is a chemical change. What is that chemical equation for rusting? Iron combines with oxygen and water to form hydrated iron oxide, which is called rust. So what is the chemical name of rust? It is hydrated iron oxide. Okay, remember, iron combines with oxygen and also with water content in the atmosphere or moisture from the atmosphere. Now we know that the development of a country is based on the development of the roads, the buildings, the bridges, etc., isn't it? So most of these infrastructure is made with iron. So rusting of iron will actually affect the economy of that country. So to prevent rusting is a very important thing. So next we are going to discuss about what are the methods to prevent rusting. Now here, before going to that slide, here you can see one point. Salty water is a factor that promotes rusting. We know that during rusting, iron is combining with oxygen and also with water content in the atmosphere, isn't it? If the water content present in the atmosphere is salty, that means if it is near to the sea, what will happen? Salty water will be present in the atmosphere. Therefore, that salty water is a factor which promotes rusting. That means the rate of rusting will be more near to the coastal areas or near to the seashore. Hope you understood. Now can you tell me why ships are at high risk of rusting? Okay, find out the answer. Now let's move to the next slide, that is methods to prevent rusting. The first method is greasing. You can see grease in the picture. See here, grease. Okay, see here, grease is applied on iron articles. You can see. Now let's check what is the second method. The second method is painting. Usually we have iron gates or iron windows in our home. These all are painted, isn't it? Why? Because to prevent rusting, painting is essential. How can we prevent rusting by painting? We know that by applying a coat of paint over the iron, we are preventing the contact of iron with oxygen and water content. The third method is galvanization. Galvanization means coating another metal, zinc, over iron. Okay. So when iron is coated with zinc, it is called galvanized iron. Okay. So that's a very good method to prevent rusting. The fourth method is chrome plating. What is chrome plating? Coating chromium. Chromium is a metal. Okay. Coating chromium over iron is called chrome plating. So in our bathrooms we have shiny pipes, isn't it? Okay. They all are chrome plated iron. The fifth method is making stainless steel. So stainless steel bowls, plates, glasses are there in our home. They are actually a mixture of iron with carbon and metals like nickel, chromium, manganese, etc. So it's a mixture of different type of substances along with iron. Alright. So these are the important methods to prevent rusting. Now let's move to the next slide, which is crystallization. Remember, crystallization is a physical change. Now let's think, what is crystallization? Crystallization is a method to form or prepare crystals of a salt from its solution. It is a method to regain the pure salt from its solution in the form of crystals. We know evaporation is another method to prepare the salt from its solution. For example, if you have seawater, you can just boil it, all the water content will be evaporated and you will get the salt. But crystallization is having a lot of advantages or merits over evaporation, because in crystallization, pure sample of salt is prepared. We know that if the salt solution contains any impurities, during evaporation only the water vapor will evaporate and the impurities will be getting mixed with the salt. We will get the impure sample of salt. But during crystallization, only the pure salt is crystallized. And we know during evaporation we don't get any crystals. It will not have any definite shape. But during crystallization, the salt will be formed in definite shapes in the form of crystals. Okay. Now you can see the method of preparing pure sample of a salt from an impure sample is called crystallization. And in crystallization, the crystals are formed and they have definite shapes also. Okay. Now I am going to show you a video in which crystallization is explained very well. So watch the video and clearly understand it. Now our chapter is over. In the next class we are going to discuss the exercises from the chapter end. So today's class is over. Take care and bye-bye.
Have you seen crystals of salts? Crystals are made through a process of crystallization. Let us try to make salt crystals from a solution of salt. For this we need thread, a saturated solution of copper sulfate and copper sulfate. First, we will make a supersaturated solution of copper sulfate. Light the spirit lamp, place the copper sulfate solution on the burner, heat the mixture. Now keep on adding copper sulfate till no more salt is dissolved. Fasten a thread on a support and suspend it in an empty glass. This thread will act as a nucleation center in the container. Now remove the solution from the burner. Pour the solution in the glass. Leave the glass aside for a few days. We see salt crystals formed on the string. This happens because the solubility of salt in water increases with temperature of solution, so more salt gets accommodated in the solution than it would have if water was at room temperature. This solution is called a supersaturated solution. The salt from this supersaturated solution gets precipitated out when the solution returns to room temperature. The salt molecules that get precipitated out start forming crystals at the nucleation center, which is the thread in this case. Crystallization is the process of formation of solid crystals of a substance by precipitating it out from a saturated solution. Why don't you try making sugar crystals at home?